Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Beasley here, back for another video. This week the RWL is taking a week off, so I decided to upload this video. I wasn't planning on uploading it, but I'm deciding now to upload it. So I'm basically just joined another league called the UBLN, and this is my draft analysis video basically. So I'm really excited for this. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, do all that fun stuff, leave a comment down below, and let's just hop right into it. So like I said, this is a new league. In the draft order, I kind of got placed kind of low, so it kind of let me decide where I wanted to be, or not where I wanted to be drafted, but more like it let me plan a little bit better, kind of being put towards the bottom, because I wasn't at the wheel pick, but I was kind of towards the wheel pick, so it kind of let me, if I wanted something, like I could kind of pick them back to back and kind of not really risk them being like sniped basically. So that was kind of nice. So first, I wanted to build my draft around a mega that I've never used before. So I was looking through megas. I was going through, I saw like Charizard X, I saw Mega Gyarados, I saw Mega Alakazam. All of those are really good megas, super hyper offensive, excuse me. And that's kind of what I was looking for. But then I saw Mega Lopunny, and I was just like, I really want to use Mega Lopunny. Like I said, I've never used it before. It's super offensive with a great ability in Scrappy. So I really wanted to use this thing. So I was kind of looking. I didn't want to pick it first round, but I was kind of looking at something out of tier 1 that would kind of synchronize it with it well, especially defensively. So I was looking, I'm like, okay, Mega Lopunny's weak to fighting, flying, fairy, and psychic, I believe. And G.O.A.T really fits that role very well. But like I said, I kind of want to use new stuff in this league, just try out new stuff. And if you guys don't know, I already have G.O.A.T in the RWL. So I didn't really want to use G.O.A.T again. So I was looking, and I saw Mew. So I decided to take Mew. Mew is a really good mon with a really good ability. If you don't know what Synchronize does, it basically, if you get status, it basically statuses the thing that status you, unless they're immune to it. Like fire types are immune to burns and poison, and steel types are immune to toxic or poison, and you know, electric types and ground types are immune to paralysis. But besides that, it just bounces it right back, and it doesn't bounce it back, like you still get status, but it statuses them as well, which is kind of nice. This thing has amazing stats, 100 in all of its stats, which gives it a really good speed tier, really great bulk, and pretty good offensive stats. This thing, if you don't know as well, gets access to every single TM in the game, which is ridiculous. It's such a versatile mon. It can be ran setup, it can be run defensive, it can be run just a fast pivot, however you want to run it. It gets access to Stealth Rocks, Defog, stuff like that, Volt Switch, U-Turn. I love my pivoting cores, so Volt Switch and U-Turn are really nice. You can pretty much run any item you want on Mew. You can run it Banded, Spec, Scarf, Assault Vest, you can run Lefties, Z-Move, and this is one of my Z captains. You can pretty much run Mew however you need it to each week, which I love the idea of. So I decided to take Mew. And then next, I didn't want to wait too much longer on Mega Lopunny. I didn't expect it to make it back down to me, so I decided to grab it now. So we got Mega Lopunny. Like I said, it has a great ability in Scrappy, which allows the normal and fighting type stabs to hit ghost types, which is amazing. So basically nothing can switch into a high jump kick freely anymore. And it has base 135 speed and 136 attack, which is like ridiculous, man. Like 135 speed, it basically, anything that's above 130 speed tier basically will outspeed most teams. Like there's not a whole lot of teams that can break 130 speed tier. So 135 I thought was an amazing speed tier. Like I said, 136 is a great attacking stat, like it's a really high attack stat. And it even has decent bulk with 96 special defense and 94 physical defense with the 65 HP, so it's not the worst in the world. This thing gets access to Return, gets Drain Punch, Fake Out, Quick Attack, Fire Punch. I believe it gets all 3 elemental punches. Yeah, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. It gets Power Up Punch. It gets Low Kick, High Jump Kick. I don't know if I said that yet. It even gets access to something like Heal Bell, even if I want to run that. It also gets like Baton Pass, Thunder Wave. So like I said, this is such a great mon. It even gets Encore. So like I said, it's such a great mon. It really just like tears down teams, especially late game. Like if their answers to this thing go down, it pretty much cleans up every single game. So I thought this thing would be really fun to use, and I thought it would go really great with Mew, and I thought Mew would go really great with it, vice versa. So next, I was looking, and I kind of wanted to take a bulky grass type, as there's not a whole lot of great bulky grass types in the meta at all. So I was looking, I saw Ferrothorn still on the board, so I wanted to grab Ferrothorn, but unfortunately it got picked a little bit before me earlier in that round. But it was fine. I wasn't like, my heart wasn't set on Ferrothorn, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So I was looking, and I saw Tangrowth, so I decided to grab Tangrowth. I believed I used it in the TBL. If you guys know what that league is, I used it in the TBL for a little while, back in season 3, I believe. But you know, I really am not used to this thing at all. I barely use it even in the TBL, so I was really excited to use it. It is a ridiculous physical wall with 100 HP and 125 defense. And it even has really good attack stats in 100 attack and 110 special attack. With the 50 special defense is kind of weak on that end of things, but you know, you could throw an assault vest on there, just kind of just kind of negate that a little bit. And this thing also has great abilities in Chlorophyll and Regenerator. Chlorophyll, if the sun is up, its speed gets doubled, which, I mean, it's a slow mon, but I mean, like, if I'm facing a Torkoal or something like that, I can, you know, just go fast on it, I guess. But Regenerator is the main ability I'll be using, obviously, which basically, if you don't know what Regenerator does, every time I switch out, I recover 1/3 of my HP back. So I thought that would be really good. This thing gets access to things like Earthquake, Giga Drain, it gets Knockoff, Leaf Storm, Leech Seed, Morning Sun, Synthesis, even gets like Power Whip, Poison Jab, Rock Slide, Sleep Powder, anything like that. Even like Stun Sport even gets. So this thing, like I said, I really want a bulky grass type, as there's not a whole lot of good ones in the game. And this thing can be ran with leftovers, Assault Vest, whatever you need it to run. So I thought Tangrowth would be really good here, and I'm really excited to use this. So next up, I was kind of looking to make a Fairy Steel Dragon Core. Fairy Steel Dragon Core. So I was looking, I'm like, what's a good fairy type? I was just kind of looking through what's a good dragon type, any good steel types, anything like that. I was looking, and I wanted to grab Primarina, but I didn't even notice that it was franchised before the draft even started, so I kind of missed out on that. It wasn't that big of a deal. There was nothing I could do about it. So I was looking, and I saw Gardevoir, so I decided to take Gardevoir. Gardevoir has 115 special defense and 68 HP, so it's a decent special defensive pivot, I guess you could say. It kind of nicely sits there with Tangrowth. They kind of just work well together. And with the 125 special attack stat is ridiculous. And the 80 speed makes this a perfect Scarfer with really two great abilities in Synchronize and Trace. Synchronize I already talked about, but if you don't know what Trace does, every time it switches in, it copies the ability of the thing that's in front of it. So, which most of the time it helps you, but sometimes, some case scenarios it's not the best. But either way, like I said, this thing with the 80 speed makes it a great Scarfmon. It gets access to things like Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Focus Blast. It gets Moonblast, Psychic Shock, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt. Pretty much gets everything on the offensive side. And if you want to even run it like a bulkier set, like an annoying kind of set, you can run Trick Room. You could run Wish. It gets all three statuses. Throw Thunderbolt, or not Thunderbolt, excuse me. Well, it does get Thunderbolt, but Thunder Wave, Toxic, and Will-O-Wisp. It gets access to Taunt. It gets Pain Split. It gets both the screens, I believe. It gets Heal Belt, stuff like that. So this thing can be really, it even gets Calm Mind if I want to set up sweep. So this thing really gets good coverage. This is also another one of my Z-Mons, as it does, like I said, it gets such great coverage. So I thought this would be a really good Z-Mon. So I can even run it bulky, I can run it offensive however I want, so I thought it'd be really good. It's another psychic type, but I feel like this and Mew kind of do different jobs. They're not really the same, so I didn't think it was too awkward having both those, especially so early in the draft. I didn't think it'd be that bad, as I can patch up their weaknesses if need be. So I thought Gardevoir would be really good for my team. It looked really good. It does add another, you know, ghost type weakness, but then Tangrowth can take physical ghost type attack, and Lopunny is immune to them, obviously, because it's a normal type. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So next, I wanted to get a Stealth Rock setter. I already have Mew that sets up Stealth Rocks, but I wanted to get another one. And so I was looking, and one of the guys in the draft, shoutouts to Mario B, I believe it was, he was talking, and Nidoqueen got sniped from him, and he said it out loud, like he typed it in the chat. He's like, "Oh, I just got sniped from Nidoqueen," and I had Nidoqueen in the back of my mind, and I didn't want to take it so early. Like I was gonna wait another turn on it, but I knew if I waited one more round, he was gonna pick it. Like no matter what, I knew he was gonna be picking Nidoking. So I decided not to wait any longer on it. So I grabbed Nidoking right here. Nidoking, you know, it doesn't have the best stats. Its best stat is a 102 attack, but with a great ability in Sheer Force. If you don't know what that does, any move that has a secondary effect, the secondary effect won't ever happen. So like Rock Slide, you won't ever get a flinch, but it does basically give you a free life orb. And what's cool about it, if you use, like, let's say Rock Slide, if you use Rock Slide with a life orb, you won't take recoil from it, since it's Sheer Force boosted. So you basically get a free 1.3 and then another free 1.3 without taking the recoil. And it also hides your items, so you don't have to show that your life orb, which is really nice. So like I said, this thing, it also has base 85 speed, so this is a really good speed tier for a Scarfer as well with Gardevoir. So like I said, this can be ran Scarf. It can be ran a little bit bulkier because it doesn't have the best defensive stats in the world. It gets great coverage though. It gets access to Aqua Tail, it gets Earthquake, Drill Run, Fire Punch. I believe it gets all the elemental punches. Yeah, it gets Ice Punch and Thunder Punch. It gets Sucker Punch, Super Power, Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, anything like that on the physical side, or even Mega Horn. Or if you want to run it on the special side, it gets stuff like Focus Blast, Ice Beam, Fire Blast, Earthquake, Dragon Pulse. It gets Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Shadow Ball, anything like that. So even Thunderbolt and Surf. So this thing is really versatile. It can be around physical or special, like I said. And it also gets access to Stealth Rocks like I wanted. And it also gets Toxic Spice, which are really nice. I love Toxic Spice. They're really nice just to whittle down teams, especially ones that are like don't have an immunity, or not immunity to it, but like can't get rid of it with like a grounded poison type or anything like that. So I thought that'd be really nice. So yeah, so I thought this thing would be really good. Like I said, it gives me another Stealth Rock user, and I feel like it's just gonna be another great offensive pressure on my team. So next up, I was kind of wanting to round out my Fire, Water, Grass core, and so I already had Tangrowth, so I needed a, excuse me, sorry, I just bumped the mic, that was probably loud, but I drafted Tangrowth as my Grass type, and I needed a Fire or a Water type, so I was looking, and I saw Darmanitan still on the board, so I decided to take Darmanitan. Darmanitan is an amazing mon. It also has Sheer Force, so another Sheer Force user, which is amazing. It has a 140 attack stat, which is absolutely ridiculous, and it even has a 105 HP stat, even though it has 55 in both of its defenses. That's pretty good. That's not the craziest Frailmon in the world. And then it has 95 speed, which makes it an amazing Choice Scarf user. So like I said, Darmanitan having the Sheer Force basically makes its stab Flare Blitz hit like a freaking truck. Nothing really wants to take those at all. Even like bulky water types will take good chunks from those. So just spamming Flare Blitz is amazing. This thing doesn't get the best coverage. It pretty much is a one-trick pony with Choice Scarf, Earthquake, Rock Slide, U-Turn, and Flare Blitz. But you know, it's a one-trick pony, but it really does that job well. There's not really a whole lot of answers to it. So I thought Darmanitan would be really good on my team. Like I said, 140 attack stat is ridiculous. And just throw a Choice Scarf on this thing, and it's just making holes in teams left and right. So I thought this would be really good here. Next up, I wanted to keep building on my Fairy Dragon Steel core. So I was looking, and I saw Klefki, so I decided to take Klefki. Klefki, you know, in stat-wise, it's underwhelming. Its biggest stat is 91 defense, which is not great at all. But you know what really gives it its niche is its ability in Prankster. And like, you know, I've noticed that pretty much all my mons I've drafted are just have really great abilities, which is nice. But you know, it has the ability Prankster, which if you don't know, all of his status moves that he uses, like quote unquote status moves, so like defog stuff like that, has a +1 priority. But dark types are immune to it. So if I try to Thunderwave a dark type with a Prankster mon, it won't affect it at all. But Prankster is a great ability, especially with this thing, as it does get access to things like defog. It gets both the screens, so I can run a light play with light screen and reflect set if I wanted to. It also gets spikes. It gets switcheroo if I want to run like a trick set. It also gets Thunderwave, Toxic, stuff like that. It also gets like priority. What else does it get? It gets priority Calm Minds if I want to run a setup sweeping set for some reason. So I think this thing is really good. You know, it doesn't have the best attacking stats, but you know, this thing is really just for support. It gets decent coverage. It gets like Psychic, Side Shock. It gets Play Rough, Flash Cannon, Foul Play, stuff like that. It's not the best coverage, but you know, it's not the worst either. But I just thought this thing would be really good. You know, Mega Lopunny loves spikes, and that's kind of why I wanted Fairthorn in the beginning. But it wasn't that big of a deal because I knew I could take Klefki later. So, like I said, Mega Lopunny loves its spikes. It helps it a lot, just chipping down teams, just so it can sweep sooner. And so, especially with the light screen and the reflect, you can even help that. So I thought Klefki would be really good here. I like the idea of it a lot with this team, so I was really excited to use it. Also, another mon that I haven't used before. Next up, I kind of want to just finish out my Fairy Steel Dragon Core. So I was looking, and I saw Dredagon. So I decided to take Dredagon as well. You know, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like Dredagon in Tier 4 is very undervalued. I don't know, maybe leave a comment down below why I'm overreacting about Dredagon. But I think Dredagon is an amazing Pokemon, just on paper at least. It has, you know, it has 3 great abilities in Rough Skin, Sheer Force, and Mold Breaker. Sheer Force I already talked about, but if you don't know what Rough Skin does, every time a Pokemon makes physical contact with you, it takes 1/8 of its HP. So if I run that with like, or not physical contact, but just contact in general. So if I run that with like Rocky Helmet with the Rough Skin, that Pokemon's taking almost a quarter of its HP every time, which is really nice. It gets access to, let me talk about Mold Breaker. So Mold Breaker, if you don't know what that does as well, say like a Pokemon has like Levitate or Mimikyu with this Disguise, it basically ignores abilities, basically. So like if a Pokemon has Levitate like Rotom, I can collect Earthquake with Mold Breaker and still hit it even though it has Levitate, because Mold Breaker basically ignores abilities. So I thought that was really good. You know, this thing gets access to stuff like Crunch, Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, Earthquake. It gets the Elemental Punches, I believe. At least it gets Fire Punch. And it gets Thunder Punch. I don't know if it gets Ice Punch. I don't think it gets Ice Punch. But it gets Glare. It gets Hone Claws if I want to be a setup set. It gets Iron Head for those fairy types. It gets Outrage, Power Up Punch. It gets Roar. It gets, you know, it gets Stealth Rock. So it's even a great Stealth Rock setter. Which is nice to have 3 Stealth Rock setters, so I don't really have to rely on Mew and Nidoking every week. So that's nice. It also even gets Taunt, Toxic, stuff like that. It even gets Sucker Punch. Like, I don't know. I think this thing, just like on paper, it looks so amazing, and I feel like even with its 120 attack stat, like that's ridiculous for a bulky mon. Like, this thing has 90 in both of its defenses and 77 HP, so that's not even that bad. So I can run this thing physically defensive, especially defensive, or even an offensive set. And you know, I feel like it'll put in work every week, or every week I bring it at least. So, like I said, leave a comment down below why I'm overreacting about Dredagon. But I feel like it's such a great mon, just at least on paper. So, next up, I kind of wanted something to fill in my speed tiers, because my speed tiers right now are looking at 135, and then it jumps all the way down to 100, back down to Mew. So I didn't like the idea of that. So I was kind of looking for things to fill in my speed tiers, and I still had free points for a tier 4 and a tier 2, or tier 2 tier 3s. So I was kind of looking, and I saw Raikou, and I didn't have an electric type yet, so I decided to grab it. With its 115 speed and 115 special attack, it kind of fits the role I kind of needed to run perfectly. It even has really good special defense, so like it has a 90 HP and 100 special defense, which is really nice. It has ability in pressure and inner focus, which aren't the best abilities in the world. This is kind of the only mon that I've drafted so far that really doesn't have a great ability. But you know, it has those are decent abilities. They're not the worst in the world. This is my third Z-Mon if I haven't talked about it. The Z-Mons were free, so just any 3 Z-Mons. So Raikou, it gets access to Aura Sphere if I want to run the Rash Nature. It gets access to things like Extreme Speed. It gets Iron Head. Gets Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, another switcher. So like we already have Darmanitan, which has U-turn. It has we have Mew with Volt Switch or U-turn. So this is another pivoter. And like I said, I love pivoters. So this adds a really nice aspect to my team. This thing gets access to Thunder Wave, Roar, anything like that. So it even gets both the screens, I believe. So I thought this thing would be really great for my team. Like I said, it fits a great speed tier. So I have 135 down to 115, which isn't as big of a jump as it was before. So I thought that was going to be nice. So anyways, Raikou, like I said, is a Z-Mon. Since it doesn't have the best special attack in the world, but it has decent coverage or decent like different Z options. So I thought that would be really good. And I'm excited to use this as well, as this is another mon I haven't used before. So next up, I was kind of looking, I was like, I wanted something else to fit in my speed tiers between those two, between Raikou and Mew. Just kind of want to patch that up a little bit. So I was looking, and I saw Cryogonal, and I'm like, you know, I want a Rapid Spinner, and so that kind of fits nicely because I have so many hazards on this team. With like Toxic Spike, Stealth Rock, Spikes, stuff like that. And so I don't want to really have to rely on Defog to get away with my own hazards to get away with theirs. So I decided to grab Cryogonal. With a really nice ability in Levitate. If you don't know what Levitate does, it basically is like flying, basically makes you a flying type without the flying typing, if that makes sense. So I thought this was really nice. You know, this thing gets access to Defog and Rapid Spin, so I can run either or. It doesn't have the best coverage in the world. It gets a knockoff, Ice Shard, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Flash Cannon, stuff like that. But it has a really good special defense stat of 135 with the 80 HP. So this is also another bulky special mon, which I thought was really nice. It even gets access to Recover, so it can for longevity and stuff like that. And it gets Toxic and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a really good mon. It's not the best mon in the world, but I thought it'd be good. And especially out of tier 5, I thought this would be really good on my team. It gives me a Rapid Spinner, like I said, and it also fits in that speed tier that I needed filled in. So, last but not least, I have yet to pick a water type, and I knew I had enough points to get something out of tier 4, and I saw like Gastrodon was left, there was Jellicent, there was some other stuff that I can't remember right off the top of my head. But I was looking, and I saw Alomomola, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, how annoying of a team composition would it be to have Alomomola and Tangrowth, like just as switching back and forth with the Regenerator, like, you know, I feel like those two synchronize so perfectly. So I grabbed Alomomola. It fits a nice speed tier that my team doesn't have yet, which was nice. And with the 165, you heard me right, 165 HP stat, this thing is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It, you know, it has 80 defense and 45 special defense, so it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but with the 165, or it's not bulky in terms of the defense and special defense stat, but with the 165 HP, that helps it dramatically. So this thing can be ran especially bulky or mostly physically bulky. This thing, like Darmanitan, is kind of a one-trick pony, but with the Regenerator, it gets you know, really nice recovery. It also gets stuff like Wish. You can run Wish Protect, gets Aqua Jet, Knockoff, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump. Doesn't really have the best offensive stats in the world. It gets Scald, Shadow Ball, stuff like that. It gets Wish even, or I said Wish. It gets Toxic. So like I said, it's not the, it's kind of like a one-trick pony where you're pretty much going to be running Wish, Protect, maybe Toxic, maybe Knockoff, maybe Scald, maybe Aqua Jet, just depending on what you need. But, you know, this thing is just really annoying. Like, you really have to have a dedicated switch into this thing to deal with it, or it's just going to, like, slowly tear down your team, which I love the idea of. And especially having another Wish Pastor on my team is going to be really nice to kind of take that load off of Gardevoir, since it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, and this thing's far more bulky. So, I love the idea of Alomomola. So that is my team, guys. Just to recap it, I have Mew, Mega Lopunny, Tangrowth, Gardevoir, Nidoking, Darmanitan, Klefki, Druddigon, Raikou, Cryogonal, and Alomomola. Like I said, this almost everything on this team I have never battled before with, so I'm really excited to use all of them. Just really get exposure to new mons I've never tried before, so I'm really excited to do that. I'm also really excited just to battle in this league in general. I've been in it a couple seasons ago, I believe. Maybe it was last season. This is season 5, so I believe it was season 4 that I participated in for a little bit at least. And I did decently well in that. But anyways, guys, that's my team. Really excited to use it. I should have my first battle up on either Saturday or Sunday, just depending on the situation. Anyways, guys, like I said, subscribe, like the video, ring that bell notification for whatever reason. I know the reason, but ring the bell notification. Leave a comment on the video if you want to. And anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out of here, so I will catch you guys next time.